we started Roberts Family Development Center 50, the vision we had was really simply to serve children and families. Didn't really have a lot more to it than that. I think over the years that's grown, and it's grown into something that touches a lot more than just children and families in North Sacramento.
We currently have 9 after-school program sites, and we are working with 4 Sacramento school districts, serving over 500 students daily. We have always provided summer youth programs in addition to our after-school programs, but we began a special partnership in 2014. In the summer of 2014, we began partnering with the Children's Defense Fund to bring their summer program called Freedom Schools to the Sacramento area.
One of the pillars of Freedom Schools is building community, and so really building those partnerships is very important, just so that the kids can see, oh, this is a potential career that I can have, or these people are really cool, these people care about STEM, and look where they are now.
Freedom Schools is a great effort to help bring more educational robustness to underserved communities. And it's really important in the Sacramento region because the Sacramento region has a great number of schools that are in underserved areas. And we work with teachers and students, and we help them learn about energy efficiency technologies and sustainable practices so that they can take those practices home back to their own parents and be the educators and take action to help their own communities save money.
I think that it's amazing that SMUD has come to join us today. I actually got to travel with one of the groups to the different stations, and the kids were just so excited.
Engagement really is getting the kids to work hands-on in science and energy. And so that means getting things out like our solar cars, that they get out and they get to take these little cars and they race them around a solar track, and they really learn about how just a little bit of difference in adjusting that solar panel can make the cars go a lot faster or totally stop them in their tracks.
So for the fact that they're engaged in science, they're excited about the next thing, is really impressive.
Daryl and I started the center as a legacy to our grandparents. My grandmother was a community activist in her day in a little place in Georgia. His grandfather was a community activist in New Orleans, and they really modeled to us how it is important and why it's important for us to be involved in our community. You can't just talk about what's wrong, but you have to be involved. That's why we call it Roberts Family Development Center.
It brings back a lot of memories, memories of the original vision, what we were thinking about doing, what we thought we would do in these 3 buildings. In fact, that initially had to renovate these 3 buildings, which was part of that vision in early years, providing services to kids, 13 kids originally, 37 kids that first summer. Part of the summer and after school program, which really became our linchpin in the community. The preschool that started off early and went for a while with us, and today has resurfaced at the housing complex on Twin Rivers Housing.
Preschool is so important as a part of our overall mission, because the earlier we can be a part of our students and their families' life, the better chances we have at making a long-term impact, which is what we really want to do. So starting in year 1, we started with a preschool. The parent connection is so important to us. So our parents volunteer at our preschool. We have a parent meeting once a month where we connect them to various services. They also go with us on field trips, because really when the adults in a household are doing well, the kids are doing well.
Mr. and Mrs. Roberts said, we don't want them just ready for school, we want them at the top of their class. And so, you know what? We have those results to prove it. Their progress reports and the report cards are all proficient and outstanding. I couldn't be prouder of the parents, because without them as the core teachers, the core advocates for their children, what we do might make a momentary difference. They're going to make the lifelong difference.
Certainly didn't think we would be heading Reducing African American Child Death Initiative. Because 20 years ago we were talking about this very same issue. Certainly wouldn't be thinking today, 15 years into the history of our organization, that we'd be leading one of the communities, North Sac Del Paso Heights, in its efforts to reduce African American child death. Recognizing the importance of the initiative and realizing our role into changing the trajectory of what's happening for African American children and African American families.
The Roberts Family Development Center has not just been instrumental in the development of the strategic plan and the implementation plan, and really advocating around the application of resources to begin the work. It is one of several different community assets we have to make sure that the interventions that we have, whether it's regarding third-party homicide or child abuse, neglect homicide, perinatal conditions, or even sleep-related deaths in the African American childhood population, we've got to have the right people with the right amount of trust in the communities to be able to help the county, quite frankly, and First Five that I happen to chair, provide the kind of resources, the information, the education that we need to turn around those four leading causes of death.
The evolution of the Roberts Family Development Center has really come full circle for me in my particular position as the program officer of the Reduction in African American Child Death Steering Committee here in Sacramento County. Particularly because our first interaction was always on really with youth development, young people's voices being heard, creating opportunities and supports and resources for opportunities in Del Paso Heights. That has always been the focus and continues to be the focus, but how we approach the work has changed together. And I think that has a lot to do with the evolution of the RFDC Roberts Family Development Center, particularly when it comes to parent engagement, going after gang intervention prevention dollars, federal grants, whole family service wraparound efforts. And I believe that is why you have been chosen to be the community incubator lead in Del Paso Heights.
Well, the center has added value throughout the region, but particularly here in District 2, I think the center, without question, has added value. Is involved not just the leadership of the center, but also those that are trained and those that have gone through the program are in the community doing good work. And so I think you have to judge, the success of an organization by the fruit that it bears. The Roberts Family Development Center has borne good fruit, and I think you have to judge an organization by the fruit that it bears. And I can testify and say that the center has done good work, as evident by the fruit. One of the things that has really stood out to me is determination, commitment, and focus. And you have to be very focused to do this kind of work. You have to have determination, and you have to know that sometimes people are going to say no. But that should not stop you from going forward. And I think Daryl and Tina are testaments to that.
To give you a brief history behind our program, you would have to go back 8 years ago to our main center, where we served 20 teens. Since then, Mr. Roberts and I had several conversations on how do we continue to serve our scholars and our families to make sure that they have the best opportunity for college. What we came up with is Grant Union High School, Pacers Moving Forward. Here, we're preparing our students through a variety of programs, job internships, job readiness training, SAT, PSAT prep. So we're really working hard here at Grant to make sure that every student that comes through the doors have a chance to graduate on time and are prepared for the next level.
Some of the other things we're involved in are not always as readily understandable, especially when you look back 15 years ago. Today, we like to think of ourselves as an important part of the community, North Sacramento as well as Del Paso Heights. And in North Sac, we've become an interesting community partner in that we house a lot of activities. So, whether it be quinceañeras, whether it be the a debutante ball with the AKAs, or whether it be the Dixie Community Association meeting, or parent engagement activity, parent empowerment meetings. We do that on a regular basis, whether it be the Sikhs annual prayer breakfast or prayer meeting, whether it be some of the community parent families who use us for their Thanksgiving holiday feast and their Christmas holiday activity. Our center really has become a recognized building in terms of place to be at and place that can be used for community activities. We're hoping that, with the help of the City Council and others, we'll be able to renovate this building. It's built in the 40s. It needs an interior facelift. We have renderings that, that will show throughout the year to gain the support that we need to make sure people buy into that vision.
I see the services that we provide here in Sacramento as critical to the growth of our city and county. I think that we are a vital economic engine to Sacramento. We're not in it for the money, we're in it for the mission, but you do need financial support to carry out the mission. It's important for the services that we provide in the community to exist, regardless of whether Daryl and I are at the helm, because the mission is still there, the need is still there. So I always tell my staff, if something were to happen with Daryl and I, God forbid, at the same time, it's your responsibility to take this on. So you have to think of it as not just a job. What are you getting from it? What are you giving? Because just like we want our families to grow, we want our staff to grow as well.
We're extremely proud of our past, but we're equally excited about our future. The future at Roberts Family Development Center for its children and families and the community we serve is bright.